Welcome back to the Leadership Match. In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover one idea, one lesson, and one action that can help leaders grow. These are real conversations, practical insight, and action you can use. Today, I'm joined by Michael Eskenasy. Did I say it right that time?
You did. I mean, you're getting closer, and that's all that matters.
All right.
It's progress.
It's okay. As long as we're making progress, that's awesome. I'm there. All right, let's jump into this. What is one leadership lesson you believe more people need to hear right now?
I would say that the people who are around you don't have the same perception of reality that you do in that moment. So you need to understand where everybody is and make sure the message is designed for that specific person in that specific moment. Because if they're not available to take the message, you need to find a way to preserve it for the time that they are. Because if you continue to push on someone who doesn't understand, you're just creating more fracture, more panic, more everything. Give them the minute, like, hey, let's not solve this unless it's brain surgery. Let it go and come back to it.
Yeah, no need to confuse them even more, right?
That's exactly it.
What is an idea, belief, or strategy that changed the way that you lead?
That trust is probably the most important thing. I understand part of the problem is that nobody is able to really trust their situation in any given time. So if we're gonna pull words together, I think that's the way that I would do it on the fly, which is if if people are working within a business and they know the business is always looking to cut corners, cut costs, find ways to bring things down, and then people who are project managers are just like, hey, I'm a project manager, but now I need to become an accountant for this job. You're now stretching people in ways that they don't understand, that they're not able to do, creating roles that never existed because of gaps. So if that's something that is happening to someone, then that is going to leave them unaware to be able to fill that job in any way, and their ability to communicate and step out of the loop is going to become impossible because all those weird contextual fibers that hold that role together are now gone. And then when somebody leaves, you got to rebuild it in a different way. So for me, it's maintaining that context.
Awesome. Now, a little personal. Who helped shape your leadership journey, and what did they see in you that maybe you did not see in yourself yet?
But that's a wild story in itself.
Good.
It started with a, like, I don't know how deep you want me to get into this, but
Get into it.
the craziest experience I ever had is I was 26, 25 or 26, right? And I was in a position where I wasn't making much money. I didn't have, I was not, life was not, people say, hey man, this is great times. I'm like, it was not great times. And I was not happy with where my life went. So a weird twist of events happened, and I saw, and I ended up taking something that was illegal at the time, in the state of California, but is now very much
Legal.
appreciated in some of those states. Um, and I took a little bit too much. And what happened is the abstractions that I was never able to put together and the fragmentations in that moment seemed to disappear. So I was listening. My buddy was like, hey, dude, listen to this Adam Carolla podcast. This guy's hilarious. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I listened to it, and I, like, this was like the second time I'm like, okay, this was awesome. I need to try this. And then I flipped this guy on, and he was talking about, like, hey, get off your ass, go to school, do these things. And I'm like having, because I'm new to this, right? So I'm like having this moment where I'm like, oh my god, he's talking to me. So so 5 days later, I enrolled in college, got my bachelor's degree, MBA, started at Disney a month after I graduated, and we were off. So I was like, okay, dude, this guy sees the light. So I was like listening to him, and what's interesting about him is his stances haven't changed in like the 30 years that he's been doing radio. Politics have shifted around it, but it was all about personal responsibility, all about accountability, all about those things. And I'm like, I'm in this moment, and I hear this, and I'm like, okay, this is now became a core value that was already somewhat instilled in me, but now it just became the catalyst for everything that started.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you went on from Disney to other great companies, including Twilio and Amazon, right?
That's exactly right. And it was never because of technical skill. It was always about accountability and if I was going to get fired, I was going to get fired, but I was going to be honest with whoever that individual was. And being that buffer between political situations is what allowed my career to do anything.
That's awesome. What is one action leaders can take this week to get better results?
Acknowledge their mistakes. Igno- Acknowledge, and it's not mistakes. It's almost more of social pressures. It's people go the VP, and I always go to the VP level because I think it's the most understandable from every front. Like everyone kind of deals with a VP in some way, shape, or form. So the VP is now getting pressure from whoever is putting pressure on this. We need numbers. We need this. We got to hit whatever it is. It's fine, but people don't know where that's coming from, and it's kind of like when your mom says to you, because I said so, it's like now I can't draw boundaries. Because you've said that, I now don't understand what is okay because there's no logic behind it. So as that trickles down and people don't understand, people are happy to do it for you. They care about you. Um, they want to deliver for you, but if they don't understand what's driving that, then they're going to draw their own conclusions and they're going to start drifting in the wrong direction and you're never going to get where you need to go. If you're honest with them, you're just like, dude, this is the reality that we live in. It's going to clear a lot of things up and build trust.
Awesome. I love that answer. When you look at leadership today, where do you see the biggest mismatch between people, roles, and expectations?
People's roles. So, so when you talk about it, right? It really starts at the level, right? Let's look at it, someone who's in HR. Someone in HR, what they're doing, right, is they're really marketing. And what they're marketing is they're marketing a brokerage deal between you and a human being. You give me your cognitive ability and I will give you this life that I promise. Here's your insurance. Here's this. Your family's gonna love it. Kids are protected. Your kid needs some dental work covered. All that stuff is then presented to you in exchange for your cognitive. So now there's a deal that's happening. And you get in there and you're now catching up and you got to be agile, which means we don't know what we're doing. So you gotta jump on the fly. You have to I had a bunch of examples of these that I actually wrote and started thinking about, but it's like all those cultural words mean to like be an owner, which is like you're the one who's going to get slapped when this goes wrong. It's all those things mean something, and they're not clear about what those mean and the ambiguity that comes with them. So everyone's left to their own devices to figure out how do I survive in this role. And because of that, everyone's expectations of what you need and what I need to be successful, like you may need this project to go, but I need this to stay under budget. So now we're battling over this thing. And it's not that we don't get along and that we don't like each other. It's that I got to feed my family, you got to feed my family. And these people are pitting us against each other to create the best result at our stress. So I would say that's probably where I'd lean into.
Got it. And what is a mistake or a hard lesson that made you a better leader?
Probably the realization was so let me take you through. So I got this dog Chefrey, which is what I named the business after because he's my ride or die. So Chefrey, we got him. He was a puppy. I was working in I was this was during the pandemic. I was working for True Pill. They gave me a sweet offer. My wife my at the time was starting our bakery. So she was off doing that, but the money was there. And then all of a sudden, when the pandemic started pulling back, on that, kind of money and funding that was going out for the companies like Twilio that were growing as a result of everyone going digital, and that crashed, then they looked at me and they were like, "Dude, you're expensive," and I'm like, "I got it. I'm gonna help myself out the door." So I got laid off, and I had to start working in the bakery with my wife. Not had to, I really wanted to. It was I was done. I was done. I wanted to go. So we went there, but the problem was is we had this 4, 5, 6 month old puppy at the time. Uh, he's a Bernedoodle, a big boy. Destroyed the place. So just destroyed it. So then when we were in San Francisco, so we started looking um at the actual numbers that were going out. We're like, okay, I'm not making bullshit tech money anymore. I'm now, we gotta hunker down. So we actually our place was trashed. Everything was done up. So we're like, why go buy it? Let's go live in a van. We got a bakery, we got everything. Let's just throw a bed in a van and let's go live in it. So we built this van. We built this van. We had this Mercedes, like not like the huge ones, but like a Sprinter. And my wife parked around the corner and she opened the door and this car came around and hit the open door so hard that it shifted the van off its frame the night before we were going to move into it.
My God.
So now we don't have a place. So we're using like hotel like points to get into a place until we could figure out like, okay, what do we do? And what we ended up doing is living in a U-Haul that we rented by the day and had to pay for parking and had to do that while we were working. And all we had was literally me, my wife, um, my dog, and my dog. It was that was the unit. And we were living in San Francisco, and edit this part out. It was enough for me, and that's where I really found out. So I can say that again for you. Um, Not her. And that's something that you realize, which is you need to align with people all across the way. I was happy being there with my family, and because of that, it changed my ability to what I find is important to me. And one of the things that isn't specifically important to me is money. And because I'm in this position, it means I can do a lot of things because that number, that status doesn't drive me. I would rather help people with it. And it's gonna be a fun ride because of
Yeah, you're driven by impact, making
and
an
yeah,
impact.
and that's where we are. So it's just about banging the drum and hitting it because, like I said, I have no marketing budget. But the result of that, which is going to be amazing, is going to be because I have no marketing budget and people see the quality in which that comes with um, my system and everything else, that badge now becomes a marketing tool on its own for everybody else who's using the system and standing up to that level of discipline and respect and all those other things I probably just misclassified.
What is, and this is a final match question,
Mhm.
what is one book, person, habit, or just an idea that you would match with every leader listening?
Oh, I quote this all the time. So there's this movie, it's called In Search of Greatness, if you've seen it. And it's where Wayne Gretzky, where he's like, "Hey, dude, I
Yes.
was sitting there," and he's like doing the mapping with the puck and watching it, and then they're like, "Wayne, who pushed you to trade? Who did this?" He's like, "Nobody." And that answer is the key, and it's the thing that I'm running on, which is I'm doing my Wayne Gretzky. Like this is my version of doing what I want to do unbounded. No one's pushing me to do this. Imagine if everybody could do that. Imagine if everybody could remove the administrative and coordinative ability off their lives and put 120% into whatever they want to do. Imagine what we can create, and that's what it's all about. And that quote by when Wayne Gretzky said that, it was everything for me.
Awesome. I gotta rewatch that one. All
Really good.
right. Leadership is built one conversation, one connection, and one action at a time. Thanks for listening to the Leadership Match. I'm your host, Martin Rowinski. And if this conversation gave you one idea to act on, subscribe, share it with another leader, and I'll see you in the next match. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.